What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. What's good? This is your boy Tone DeShields the second. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Y'all know the vibes, y'all know the energy, y'all know how we carry it here. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys then follow it up by hitting that hype button. That's a new button on YouTube. Helps support the show, helps support the algorithms. But make sure you guys hit the like button, stay subscribed. Make sure you guys comment below as well. I love reading your comments. Sometimes I go back and forth with you guys. It all depends on if the comment makes sense or doesn't make sense. But regardless, you guys are truly a part of this community here, and I can't wait to get into it. I can't wait to get into it because we're going into the bye week. The Philadelphia Eagles, that is, are going into a bye week, week 9, on a 2-game winning streak after suffering from a 2-game losing streak. Right, you know, the Eagles started the season 4-0, beating teams like the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Buccaneers, right? Then they followed that up with a 2-game losing streak, losing to the Broncos, getting embarrassed by the Giants. So then you're 4-2 at this point. Then you follow that up with a pretty exciting win against the Minnesota Vikings, where your pass game, where your offense was pretty much clicking. Running game still struggled a bit, but your pass game was on fire. Jalen Hurts had a perfect game. Then this Giants game this past weekend. All 3 phases of the team working in concert: offense, defense, special teams, right? I mean, everybody played a perfect game damn near. Everybody did their job to the best of their ability. I feel like everybody got a chance to affect the game. Smitty got his yards and his catches and his targets. Dallas Goedert had 2 touchdowns on the day. Jihaad had a 40-yard touchdown. Saquon Barkley got his yards in the running game and got 2 touchdowns on the day. You feel what I'm saying? Like, seems like everybody really had a strong hand in this game. Obviously, A.J. Brown didn't play because of a tweaked hamstring, and this bye week is going to do really good things for him as well, especially with the Eagles going on a potential run these next several games. It's going to be tough, right? You come out of the bye, you got Green Bay and you got Detroit, so that's not going to be easy. But nonetheless, the Eagles are in a good place. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are exactly where they need to be. And throughout the season, there were people who were wondering or even accusing the Philadelphia Eagles of suffering from the same curse from the 2023 season, just to put it plainly. And I kept trying to tell people, this is not that team. This is not the same situation. This Eagles team, they experienced that already. And you think they would let something like that happen again? Nah, I don't think so. This Philadelphia Eagles team strikes me as the kind of team that learns from their mistakes. They don't really compound them. And overall, they got good leaders in the building. So, again, the Eagles are in a good place right now. The schedule we knew prior to the bye week was going to be a doozy. A lot of people had the Eagles coming into the season starting 2-2 or 1-3. Like, people legit said this. People with microphones, people with suits, people with big budgets said the Eagles may start the season 2-2 or 1-3. Some said the Eagles may start the season 3-3, 2-4. People said these things, right? So you go into the bye week 6-2. Okay, you dropped 2 games you should have won. All right. At least you can look back and say, you didn't play your best there rather than you were outmatched by a team, because they weren't outmatched in any game they played, in my humble opinion. They just happened to not play their best games and honestly just give the games away. So in a perfect world, you could have been 8-0 quite easily. You ended up being 6-2 going into the bye week. I'm not mad at that. You can't win them all. And I think all those losses, the 2 losses, Broncos against the Giants as well, I think those 2 games were signature moments for the Eagles in terms of where they want to take the offense. And I think these past 2 games where you beat the Vikings, you beat the Giants, you've put on tape, you've shown the world that I can throw for 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns and no turnovers, and we can win like that. I can also take another route and drop 276 rushing yards on you, and my quarterback still throw for 4 touchdowns. Like, the Eagles are showing you so many different prisms to this gem here. And again, we know the first 6 weeks were a little up and down, strong halves, weak halves. You start off strong, then you bottom out in the second half. There was a point in the game where there was a point in the season where Jalen Hurts had a whole half where he didn't complete a pass. Like, the running game wasn't working. The offensive line was not on point. This season, for the first 6 weeks, had a lot of stains on it, but you were still 4-2 nonetheless. You managed to tread water, and now you found your groove going into the bye week. There's going to be a lot of self-scouting. There is going to be a lot of self-scouting throughout these 2 weeks, because I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles, I think they still have another gear. They did what they did yesterday without A.J. Brown. And, some people are going to say, well, it was the Giants. Listen, that Giants team is playing tougher. They're giving good teams for good competition. And they have a young quarterback that they're excited about. They have a young running back that they're excited about. They got a young wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, who they're excited about. Now, Neighbors didn't play, and Camp Scatterboo went down, so it was all on Jackson Dart, really. But they have something to be excited about over there. Now, whether or not the Giants front office handles the situation correctly, whether they get the right coach in the building, that's a different conversation. But that fan base, that Giants team has excitement around it, and they're playing with confidence. They pushed Denver to the brink. They beat the Eagles. They beat the Chargers. They have some pretty good wins on the resume. So you can't look at them as the same Giants team as we know them to be. They'll catch you if you lack on them. So the Eagles had to learn the hard way. They got embarrassed. They come back and drop 38 on their head. So I don't want people to just brush this win off. This was an important win. It shows that you're able to flip that switch even when you slept on the team, because I think they slept on them. I really believe that the Eagles slept on the Giants in that first matchup and didn't expect them to hit them that hard. Eagles said, not gonna catch me again. They came out like gangbusters. I mean, they were very intentional about making life hell for Jackson Dart and that whole team, right? So everything clicked on Sunday for the Philadelphia Eagles. Going into the bye week, you want to get healthy. You want to get healthy. Landon Dickerson has been dealing with injury. He still doesn't have the cleanest bill of health, but he played, I think, the last 2 games and played well. I think he missed that Giants game. So he played well in the Vikings, played well against the Giants in the second go about. But he has to get healthier. Cam Jurgens didn't play. He has to get healthy. He's been dealing with the back, and I think he's dealing with a knee recently. So both Cam and Jurgens have dealt with knee, back, all that kind of stuff. Those guys got to stay off their feet. Lane Johnson, get your rest as well, big dog. That entire offensive line, Brett Toth, Fred Johnson, get your rest. Right? Y'all, they've had a very up and down season. They've struggled. Then the passing game started to figure itself out. Now the running game seems like the blocking is starting to really come to shape, and a lot of this happens because they were playing under center a lot. You know, you can get very creative in your blocking schemes being under center. So I really like what I'm saying for the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, going to the bye week, get healthy. Number 2, going to the bye week, self-scout. Figure out where you can improve on. I think the Eagles are going to really hone in on the tape from the past 4 weeks. In particular, I think they're going to really hone in on that Broncos game. And I think they're going to really hone in on, honestly, that Vikings game as well. Because I think the Eagles know they can run the ball. They know that they know what they are when they're like that. I think they need to look into that Vikings tape and find out what made Jalen Hurts so successful in that game, in the air in particular, and continue to feed that and include the running game, because Jalen Hurts, he can do whatever you need him to do. And that's what's been proven, in my humble opinion. Let me get to some of these super chats real quick. TDK 2343 with the $10 super chat. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. He says the Eagles are trending in the right direction in all phases of the game going into the bye, but CB2 and Edge are both still suspect even when healthy. Howie should make trades for both. I don't know if he'll be able to make trades for both. Frankly, I think CB2 is the bigger issue, because I think they can get enough pressure with that interior. I mean, you had 3 sacks between your D tackles. Jalen Carter had a sack. Jordan Davis had a sack. Moro Jomo had a sack, right? And then Jalix Hunt got in for a sack. Uche should have had one. Should have been a strip sack, but they didn't give it to him. Nonetheless, they got 5 sacks yesterday. They can get and they're going to get healthier. That's another thing too. They're going to get healthier. Nolan Smith is going to come back. BG is going to add to that. I think they need to go CB2, because I think whenever the Eagles have really gotten hurt this year has been because of that CB2 position. Let's just call it what it is. I think CB2 is priority 1, and if you have an opportunity to get an edge rusher, okay, maybe you take it. But I think cornerback 2 is priority number 1 for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how I look at it. Thank you for the super chat, TDK. Or is that my man Sweet Chin Music? Darth Panda with the super chat says people owe KP an apology, me included. He's been better. You know, let's continue to build on this. KP is still somebody that you got to watch, right? Still somebody you got to watch. So far, we have two quality games of play calling to a degree. We have some quality halves, right? But let's not jump the gun here. Like we want him to do well, obviously, but I'm not ready to just bow down to Kevin Patullo. I'm not. He hasn't put in that much of good work for me to just kiss the ground he walks on. But we're going to see what happens at the trade deadline. I think CB2 is something that they are going to prioritize. That's how I see it. I don't see a world where you go into the playoffs with Adoree Jackson or Kelee Ringo as your best corner. I just don't. And coming out of that bye week, you got Green Bay, you got Detroit. They have some pretty good receiving cores. I just don't think you can legitimately go throughout this season going to the playoffs with Adoree Jackson or Kelee Ringo being your best corner. I don't know how long you can hide that. And also that's not me saying they shouldn't go get an edge rusher. If you can get one, cool. But I think priority number one is CB2. Priority number one is CB2, man. Also, just bringing it back to the Philadelphia Eagles, while bringing it back to what happened yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles have just been Jalen Hurts, as a matter of fact. Jalen Hurts has been so fantastic at handling the blitz, especially as of late, because the narrative has always been Jalen Hurts struggles against the blitz. He's a guy that's not really efficient against the blitz. But honestly, he's been pretty good against the blitz this year. So that narrative has to disappear. That narrative can't continue to be. It can't continue to be the thing. It can't. I think there's a stat here that I can find about Jalen Hurts when it comes to the blitz. And you got to give credit where credit is due. Let me see if I can find it here. I think my man Jeff Kerr posted it. Jeff Kerr's always good with the stats. Shout out to Jeff Kerr, man. All right, let's see. By the way, make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, man. Found it. Let's bring this on screen here. Shout out to my man Jeff Kerr. Always doing amazing work. I got to find a way to get him on the show pretty soon. He's a good dude. All right. Boom. Check this out. I was looking at this stat, and I was saying to myself, what is this narrative that Jalen Hurts, the best way to beat Jalen Hurts through the blitz? Jalen Hurts has been beating the blitz all year long. He has. Ty Bowles, he carved him up in the first half. Granted, things got cold in the second, but defense did their job. But on the season, Jalen Hurts is completing 72% of his passes, 747 passing yards, 11 passing touchdowns, only one interception, a 134.5 passer rating. He's done this against the blitz. Only Sam Darnold has a higher passer rating against the blitz than Hurts, with a 137.7. Matthew Stafford has more touchdown passes when blitzed than Hurts, which is 12. So Jalen Hurts is right there, top 3, top 2 against the blitz. But they want to feed you storylines and narratives that aren't substantiated. They can't substantiate their claims because they're holding on to their priors. Jalen Hurts is somebody who has beaten the blitz this season and has the analytics, has the stats, has the production to back it up. And this doesn't even include the times where he's gotten out of dodge against the blitz. He's ran with his legs. This is just what he's done in the air against the blitz through 8 weeks of football. Pretty productive, if you ask me. He's going up against some pretty complicated defenses with Ty Bowles that's giving him trouble in the pass. He's going up against Brian Flores, what's challenged him in the past. Who else did he go up against? He went up against that Rams defense. Thank God Fred Johnson came through in the second half. Who else? Like the reality is that Vikings pass defense, come on, man. Like the bottom line is Jalen Hurts is a guy that has continued to elevate his game each and every season in some shape, way, or form. In some shape, way, or form, Jalen Hurts has been somebody who's elevated his game every single season. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to have the best season of his career, statistically. Statistically, I think Jalen Hurts is on pace to have the best season of his career. He already has 15 passing touchdowns on the season through 8 weeks. He had 18 passing touchdowns last year through 17 through what was that? How many games he played last year? He played 15 games last year. Actually, probably can make an argument saying he played 14 because he barely played in that Commanders game. So the narratives about Jalen Hurts not being good against the blitz have to stop. They have to stop. Spags. Shout out to my man. Yeah, I totally forgot about Spags. Totally forgot about Spags. He went up against Spagnola, Brian Flores. Come on, man. Ty Bowles. That Rams pass rush, that Rams defense. Come on. Stop it. I get it. I get Jalen Hurts' success makes people uncomfortable. I get Jalen Hurts being somebody that you can't criticize. I understand why that's a struggle. But I was really excited about what I saw. All right. Let's see what else we got here, because there was a couple things here that was pretty remarkable. And by the way, the Philadelphia Eagles are undefeated in the Kelly Greens. Let's not forget that. Undefeated in the Kelly Greens. Let me show you something. Check this out. Jalen Hurts continuing to kill narratives. Jalen Hurts when blitzed against the Giants. 6 of 8, 112 passing yards, three touchdowns. No interceptions, a 156.3 passer rating. Come on, man. He's proven that he can beat these blitzes. No matter what they say, no matter what they try to do. That's not a problem anymore. Most of the time, these people who criticize Jalen Hurts, they're just talking. They're just talking. They're just repeating what they've heard. They're not really watching the games, or they don't want to really give him a fair shake. His production is undeniable. Undeniable. And when you got Saquon Barkley doing what he did yesterday, you got Tank Bigsby doing what he did, that takes it to a whole nother level. Tank Bigsby had one game, and he already is looking like an upgrade over Kenny Gainwell or A.J. Dillon. All it took was one game. If you get more of that from Tank Bigsby, him being a threat like that, that's going to make Saquon Barkley that much more of a threat as well. That's going to spell Saquon and have Saquon get the numbers, get the production, but he won't have to be on the field as much. This is something that the Eagles need to build on, this two-headed monster with Saquon and Bigsby. That's something that the Eagles can actually pour into, which will extend the shelf life of A.J. Brown, especially for the remainder of the year. It was big to see Tank Bigsby and Saquon go off like that the way they did. Costa says, Tone, no matter what Hurts achieves, those haters have already dug in their opinion on him and will always double down on the hate. They will never admit they were wrong about Hurts. Yeah, of course they won't. They never will, because Jalen Hurts is he's not gonna he's not gonna fight for his respect in the traditional sense. Jalen Hurts is going to just spite them with success. He's going to spite them with wins. Simple as that. He's not going to feed into the narratives in front of the microphone. He's not going to feed the beast, by talking to the microphone. He's going to win football games and play well. And regardless of what they say or how they feel, when the stats and when the production and when the championships come on the resume, you can't deny what he's done. Rome says Tank got that Jay Ajayi energy. I can see that. Not quite LeGarrette Blount, but I can see that. He got that Jay Ajayi pop to him. Mr. Shakeback says, I doubt they split carries between Tank and Saquon. I'm not saying they got to split them like half and half, but I'm saying if you run the ball 30 times, I think Tank Bigsby should have 10 carries. Or 12 carries, 18 to 12. If the Eagles run the ball 30 times, because let's look at the stats real quick. In that Giants game, the Eagles ran the ball 33 times. 33. So let's do some quick math. Let's just say 30. Let's say 30 carries, right? Let's say you got to run the ball 30 times. If I'm splitting those carries up, I'll probably say Saquon 17. Then I'll say Tank Bigsby 10. And then you got 3 carries from Jalen Hurts. Or Saquon 17, Tank Bigsby 9. You got 4 carries from Jalen Hurts. So the run game, this 3-headed monster they have with Saquon, who had 14 carries yesterday. Tank Bigsby has 9 carries. Hurts had 4 carries. Will Shipley had 3 carries. Matter of fact, if you take away the Tanner McKee kneels, the Eagles ran the ball 30 times. Just like I said. And look at the production and look at the distribution. Saquon can still get his production and not have to be a 20 carry back. But on the game, though, Saquon had 18 touches. That's the thing. With Saquon, it's not just about the carries. It's about the opportunities, the touches. He may have had 14 carries, but he had 18 touches in the game. 4 in the air, 14 on the ground. So Saquon's going to affect the game in that way as well. But if you can get this kind of production from Tank Bigsby on 9 carries, if you can get this kind of production from Saquon Barkley on 14, 15 carries, why not give Tank Bigsby an opportunity? Again, it's only going to help. It's only going to help Saquon Barkley. It's only going to help Jalen Hurts. It's only going to make this defense that much more dangerous. So that way, if they do go through a personnel shift and Tank is on the field and Saquon's on the sideline, they don't automatically think you're going to pass the ball because Saquon's not in the game, or vice versa. Like you want them to respect your run game the same way as if Saquon was on the field all the time. And Tank Bigsby doing that, 9 carries, 104 yards, big statement. Saquon doing what he did, 14 carries, 150 yards, big statement. Big statement. Jalen Hurts, longest run of the day was 8 yards, ran the ball 4 times for 22 yards, had some crucial runs in little moments, right? He lost a lot of them yards getting sacked for 16 yards, though. So, and you still had Jalen Hurts go 15 for 20, 75%, 179 passing yards, 4 total touchdowns. I'm sorry, 4 passing touchdowns, 141.5 passer rating. This Eagles team is trending in the right direction. And the bye week checklist is get healthy. You know what I mean? Get healthy. Self-scout. Make sure communication is tight. And see if you can add something to that DB room via the trade market. You know, I'm not even entertaining the AJ Brown trade rumors. I'm not entertaining it whatsoever. Fanny Woods with the super chat. Thank you, Miss Fanny. Thank you so much for donating to the channel. She says this game changed the narrative when they said Hurts can only win with the talent around him or the tush push, missing his lead wide receiver. He has more passing touchdowns in 8 games than rushing with only 1 interception. Miss Fanny, you talking. You talking. Jalen Hurts has been so productive this season. In these past 2 games, especially, he's been really productive. Can't diminish what Jalen Hurts has done. Let me bring up his stats here. You can't diminish what the guy's done. Let's bring up this game log. All right. All righty. Let's see what we got. So, and thank you for the super chat, Miss Fanny. I appreciate you. All right. This is Jalen Hurts' game log here. Jalen Hurts has been productive this season. You know, the first 4 games, 3 games of 100+ yards, only passing. Like, he's been accurate. He's been efficient. He hasn't turned the ball over. He's been creative with his legs, pushing the ball down the field. I mean, look at this. This guy's playing great football. He's playing great football. 151 completions on 215 attempts. 1,677 passing yards, completing 70.2% of his passes, averaging almost 8 yards an attempt, 15 passing touchdowns to 1 interception. Longest pass of the year, 79 yards. He's been sacked 25 times, but has a passer rating of 114.4 on the season. 58 carries, 207 passing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. Like, they tried to call this man a tush push merchant. Come on, man. The Philly Gridiron says, question Jalen processed the game faster with not having to worry about where is AJ. Seemed like Jalen didn't care about who rather was the best option. I feel you on that. Like, I don't care what anybody says, though. AJ Brown, this team is better with AJ Brown, period. I'm not buying into any of these narratives, with all due respect. I'm just not. The Eagles are better with AJ Brown. Point blank, period. You know, with AJ Brown not playing, did Hurts have to rely on more people other than AJ? Absolutely. And those guys showed up. Smitty was targeted like 9 times in the game. Smitty had 9 targets, 6 catches. Smitty was the primary. Barkley had 5 targets. You know, Barkley was a check down. He had a screenplay. Goddard was the red zone threat. Jihaad Dotson pushed the ball down the field. You had guys doing different things. Smitty was a chain mover all day. I'm not going to sit here and all of a sudden act like, oh, the Eagles are better without AJ Brown. I'm not. But what made this passing game look the way it did is the fact that you had them balanced, running the ball. The play action was working. Let's not forget the play action was working. And they were under center. That Giants defense didn't know what to do. So, again, Jalen Hurts, productive, and they're winning. They're winning. Let's look at his projections on the season. Let's try to see what ESPN is projecting for him. All right. So as of right now, ESPN is projecting Jalen Hurts to finish the season with 321 completions, 457 attempts, 70.2 completion percentage, over 3,500 yards passing, averaging almost 8 yards an attempt, 32 passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's what they're projected. And over the last 5 games, Jalen Hurts has been money. 70% completion percentage, 12 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, 1,200 passing yards. He's been great. He's been great, man. So, look, that man Jalen Hurts deserves his flowers. He does. All right, let's see here. We got another super chat. My man Alex with the super chat. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. He says, someone on X said, imagine Hurts making KP a head coach too. That would be hilarious, bro. I don't think KP has done enough to garner a head coaching job, frankly. The Eagles would have to win the Super Bowl. They would have to win the Super Bowl. But I'm not going to sit here and say he's not getting better. I think Kevin Patullo is getting better, but I'm not ready to crown him all of a sudden. I'm not there yet. I'm not there at all. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, make sure you guys are also hitting that hype button as well if you're on mobile. After you hit the like, you can scroll over and hit the hype button. It really supports the channel. Really helps take it to another level, you guys. We got over 180 people tuned into the stream. We only got 61 likes. The math ain't math, and I need you guys to do your due diligence as the consumer. Exercise your power, right? We only got 61 likes and over 180 people are tuned into the live stream. I don't think all y'all hit that button. Maybe your hand's not free. I don't know, right? But tell Siri to hit the like button. Do what you got to do. That like button is the lifeblood, man. That hype button as well helps these channels grow. It's that new YouTube thing. YouTube is always trying to find new ways, trying to find new innovative ways to help increase traffic. And that like button and that hype button on mobile is pretty cool. So make sure you guys utilize your opportunity here. Again, I'm your guy, Tone DeShields the second. You guys are tuned in to Chalk Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I got a special guest coming up on Wednesday. I'm really excited about this. It's going to be a surprise for you guys. We're going to be live Wednesday evening. But I have a pretty special guest, and I can't wait to have this guy on, man. It's going to be really, really cool. Let's see here. We got about maybe another 5-10 minutes left in the stream. Let's go on the like frenzy, y'all. Let's go on the like frenzy. Smash that like button. Just spam the like button. All right. And if you want to donate to the channel, you can do that too. King George says Barrett Brooks. Is it really a surprise? No, that's actually tomorrow. Barrett Brooks is coming on the Bald Eagles podcast. Hopefully, if everything works out the way it's supposed to. B Brooks is supposed to come on for the Bald Eagles podcast tomorrow with me and Marcus, but I'm not talking about Barrett Brooks. Just so you know, this is the first time visitor to the channel, a first time visitor. Shout out to King George for showing love to the channel. All right, let's see here. Let me read some of these comments. Why I say that though? Says shout out to Toth for doing his thing at center. Yeah, Toth had a pretty good game. He started off a tad shaky, a tad. He had a penalty, but overall, I think Toth had a really strong game. Toth is a way better center than he is at left guard. That's just what it is. Toth is a better center. Davon Tyree says this whole AJ Brown situation is stupid. He ain't going nowhere. Exactly. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And on top of that, the type of dead cap hit the Eagles would take on by moving on from him would be ridiculous. And they're trying to repeat as, Super Bowl contenders. Trying to repeat, and they're better with AJ Brown. It's not even a question. Not even a question. Let's see. 63 Mortis says, I've seen the cap hit. Look at the great wide receivers we have behind the AJ that don't need to be paid for 2 to 3 years. Dotson about to be affordable. I hope we keep him. Yeah, for sure, man. Dotson is in a contract year, though. Dotson may try to get paid. But that's why it's important for a guy like Darius Cooper to continue to develop, because the Philadelphia Eagles can have him as a very inexpensive number three receiver if Dotson doesn't want to come back on a relatively reasonable contract. I know Dotson wants to get paid, and a team will pay Jihaad Dotson, especially the way he's come through for the Eagles. A team will pay him. So we may lose Dotson after the season, if I'm being honest. Don't forget the Eagles still have Mechie. Mechie is under contract, and I think they have his rights. They have it. He's a restricted free agent, so the Eagles have an opportunity to match anything a team wants to give him. But he hasn't put up much on tape the past season or so. So it's going to be kind of difficult for him to really have a market. But he's a young player. Coming to Alabama. We'll see where it goes from him. Why I say that though, says Darius Cooper will be very good. I'm definitely projecting that one out. Oh yeah, I agree. Tiffany says, shout out to Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson has been a godsend for this Eagles offensive line. He's played very, very well down the stretch. He played very well. Sweet Chin Music says probably need to think about Reek Woolen. Yeah, I keep hearing Tyreek Woolen. His name keep coming up. He was a talented player for the Seahawks. I don't understand what's going wrong over there. I don't get it. Candy McDaniel says, Brett Toth really deserves his flowers. He really surprised me. I thought Dexter Lawrence would eat him for lunch. Yeah, he did a good job with Dexter Lawrence. He looked like he belonged. Brett Toth looked like he belonged out there. Why I say that though, says Rick Woolen, even though he don't want to tackle, according to the Seahawks fan base. Hey, pay attention to those fan bases now, because y'all know when we talk about guys, we expect people to pay attention to us. If they know something about Tyreek Woolen, they may be right. One big she says Josh Jobe took his job. That is crazy. Josh Jobe. I mean, kudos to Josh Jobe, man, making money. All right, you guys, we are about to close the show. You guys have been phenomenal. Again, the Philadelphia Eagles, everything is starting to take shape for them right now, right? You're coming off 2 back-to-back wins that are high quality wins, if you ask me. I think they're statement victories as well. Jalen Hurts made a statement with his arm in both of these games, if you ask me. The running game had a resurgence and looks like they're coming close to being back to form, right? The offensive line played well in spite of injury. Even though you started the season 4-0, you did go on a 2-game skid, pushing you to 4-2. Then you bounce back, 2-game win streak. Now you're 6-2 going into your bye week. You have an opportunity to get healthy. You were getting better heading into the bye week, and you can carry that over until week 9 when you face Green Bay. Or I'm sorry, week 10 when you face Green Bay. So you've put up good enough tape to feel confident about, but you also put up things on tape that you can look back and say, hey, we can do better there. Hey, we're leaving so much food on the table. Our execution, our timing is getting better and better and better as the season goes. The running game looks like it's found itself again. Guys are going to get healthier coming out of that bye week. You're better with Cam Jurgens. You're better with Landon Dickerson, right? Fred Johnson has really helped this running game, especially coming in as the 6th offensive lineman in those jumbo packages. We've seen Jalen Hurts under center significantly more these past 2 weeks. And it's allowed so much more versatility with the Philadelphia Eagles. And we saw the RPO game, we saw the screen game, right? The Eagles are starting to really fill out that offense, and the play calling looked really confident. It looked cohesive. I saw an offense with rhythm the past 2 weeks. And the defense is coming off of one of their best games of the year as well. So everybody should feel good going into the bye week. But now it's time to get healthy. It's time to get away from the game a little bit, right? Get away from the game. Clear your mind, then come back. Self-scouting. What do we got going on with the Packers? And get ready to go on a run, because these next 4 weeks for the Eagles are going to tell us a lot. These next 4 weeks is going to tell us everything we need to know about the Eagles. You got Packers on the road at Lambeau. You got the Lions in Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field. Then you got to go on the road to Dallas. Then Chicago comes to town. Then you got to go over to LA and play the Chargers. So these next 5 weeks are going to tell us a lot about the Eagles. After the Chargers, you got the Raiders, which is a layup. Then you got Commanders, Bills, Commanders. And we don't know where the Commanders are going to be at that point in the season. We just don't know. Could they shut down Jaden Daniels if they're so far out of playoff contention? Right? The Bills, that's going to be a tough game because they know they're going to be there in the end. The Chargers, they're a team that's trying to show that they're a contender. I don't think they've been consistent enough, but the Chargers are trying to prove that they're a contender, right? They're 5-3 on the season. The Eagles are 6-2. The Bears, they're coming off of a loss, but they're playing better nonetheless. They're not a lost cause. Not a contender, though. But Green Bay, Detroit, those are the 2 games, in my opinion, that's going to really, really set the table. Because you have wins over the Cowboys, you have wins over the Rams and the Buccaneers and the Vikings. I think the Vikings want to at least try to sneak in as a wild card team. But you have 3 tiebreakers over NFC teams: Chiefs, Rams, Vikings. If you beat the Packers and the Lions, you'll own the tiebreaker over those teams. So if it comes down to it by the end of the season, you can lock in that number 1 seed, right? You beat the Bears. That helps your case even more, right? So you want to beat Green Bay and you want to beat Detroit in case it comes down to tiebreakers. That's what you want. But overall, Eagles 6-2, going into the bye week. Get healthy, self-scout, get away from the game, and it's straight like that, y'all. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, right? Hit the hype button. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. You guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.